everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Book Blather. If you're new here, I'm Dave. This is Olive, and we mostly talk about books to help spread the joy of reading. So if you've been around a while, you know that we don't have a particular niche, and we're not a niche channel. We try to be pretty widely read. We tend to read more. I tend to read more sci-fi and horror. Olive prefers smut, but other than that, we try to be pretty widely read and read all sorts of things. So one of the many things that we enjoy are comics and graphic novels, and so my daughter works in publishing, and so she's occasionally able to get me and Olive some stuff. So these just came, and that's why I kind of wanted to jump on here and show them right now. So these are not comics or graphic novels. These are, I guess the best way to describe them is to say comic compendiums. These are like beautiful volumes, like about comics, about comic stuff and history and all that kind of stuff. And I'm really excited about these. These are really nice. These are really cool, and they just came. So I'm going to jump off camera here for a little bit so we can show them to you up close so you can see what they look like. And yeah, here they are. Okay, first up is this one, Ultimate Marvel. So this is really cool. I don't know if you can see, but this is a nice embossed cover. This was published in 2017. You can see here it says superheroes, villains, locations, technologies, and vehicles. So it's a lot of different stuff from Marvel. This is not just characters. See here, there's major characters. So this is not an encyclopedia of characters, but this is the major characters from different ages. And then they have a vehicle section, weapons and technology, cosmic powers, magical artifacts, planets, realms, and countries and places. So it covers a lot of the major stuff. So yeah, as you can see, like there's a Fantastic Four, and so it's going to cover any major characters and major teams. There's Thor, Black Widow, all these ones that everybody would know from the movies. It's going to include plus a lot more. Guardians of the Galaxy there. But then later on, after we get past all the heroes and the villains, you can see we get to the vehicle section. So here's the Shield helicarrier, and there's vehicles of all types. Like here's Silver Surfer's surfboard, just all different types of vehicles. There's Ghost Rider's motorcycle. So, and then it goes on to weapons and technology. So as you can see, there's Captain America's shield. Ant-Man's shrinking and expanding suit, different technologies from Stark Industries like Iron Man's armor, so all that cool stuff. Sorry, I keep knocking the camera. Key moment here. So then here's cosmic powers. Obviously, Doctor Strange with his magic, and Thor's powers with his hammer, and so different magical artifacts, the moonstones. There's the Soul Sword magic, one of the X-Men, famous X-Man. That's her Soul Sword. Just all these famous magical artifacts, as opposed to just weapons. The ones that are, the Marvel Universe does have a fair bit of magic. Here's planets and realms. So different places. Olympus, some of these are planets, but some of them are mystical realms and things too. So this is pretty cool. And then countries and places. So some of these are real, where some of the heroes spend a lot of time. There's an entry for New York City, but some of them, of course, are not real. Jean Grey's School for Higher Learning, that's basically, where all the X-Men train. Here's Avengers Mansion. A lot of Weird World. So really cool book. 2017, like I said, not a complete, doesn't have, no book could have everything Marvel in it, but has a lot of the key stuff, not just the characters. So next, this is probably my favorite of the bunch. This is Marvel Encyclopedia, new edition. So this actually is an encyclopedia. They first did this in 2006, but this is a new version in 2024. So this is pretty up to date. Look at how thick this thing is. This is crazy heavy. And so this has just an immense amount of stuff. It's in alphabetical order of the characters. You can see in the back, there is a very long index of all the characters, but they are in alphabetical order. So it's almost all individual characters. Let me just show you. The art in here is so awesome. So awesome. See, it starts right out there in the beginning with Abomination, Absorbing Man, A-Force. So this is when there is a team that will appear, alphabetically where it's supposed to. But Agents of Atlas, as you can see there. So and so some of them, some of these are, there's another team, Alpha Flight. So it's all the teams and all the individuals. Some of them will have bigger, like Angel, right? That's a major X-Men, one of the original X-Men. So he's got a full page spread. It's a lot more detailed. Same with Ant-Man. But Apocalypse, it has villains too, of course. But a lot of them, let me try to find the page. A lot of them will have smaller entries, right? Because if they want to get, well, now I'm not going to be able to find it, but I try to leave her. Here you go. See, like here are some where they just have small individual entries, each of these individuals, because they're smaller characters. So this book does not have, it can't have, even a book like this can't have literally every single Marvel character. You're talking about so many decades, so many characters. But a lot of these people you don't see much anymore. Like Forge was a big X-Men for a while. It's so many big and lesser known ones, but it can't have every single one because you just decades and decades of comics. They're just an infinite amount of characters that show up in them. But it's pretty comprehensive. Jonah Jameson. They're not even all superheroes, just major characters from a lot of the comics. There's Kingpin, Nightcrawler. Just kind of going through just to give you an idea of the art. So as you can see, there's more of like the smaller ones where the characters are not so big. Red Raven, Red Wolf, Redeemer. These are things that characters most people haven't heard of. But yeah, just a lot of really, really Silver Surfer full spread. As you can see, this is just an amazing Spider-Man. So something like this, where you're not, like I was saying, you're not going to have every single Spider-Man character. There was the whole Spider-Verse series that ran and created a lot of Spider-Man characters from different worlds. So you can see from different universes, basically. So as you can see, they try to cover a fair bit of them, but they can't mention every single one, every single version of Spider-Man or Spider-Woman. But they've got a lot of them here, and even when they don't, you'll see them like they'll still reference them, or like here's Spider-Gwen. You'll see them in these pictures. So there's this pretty comprehensive, pretty amazing encyclopedia of Marvel characters. I'm so excited to have this. This is really cool. Really, really cool. Okay, Mary Jane. Okay, so we will move on to the next one. Won't spend that long on this one. This one's not quite as cool, but this is another Marvel one. This one's Myths and Legends, and this came out in 2020. So this is a much smaller book. This is sort of a little compendium of what it sounds like, myths and legends. More like this is about like gods and cosmic entities and things like that. So as you can see, here's the beginning. It says, I'll show you up close. First myths, space gods, pantheons, legendary heroes, eternal heroes. Like legendary heroes, it's like a Thor or Thor is part god, but like a Hercules or something like that. Modern myths. And so it's a much smaller book. Not that it's tiny, but it's space gods there. Judgment Day. So this is the art's not quite as cool in this, some of it, but it's pretty neat. These is the heavenly scrolls. legendary heroes. That's Namor from, the Atlantis type of city. Ultron, yeah. So just give you an idea of what's in there. A lot of there's Loki from Thor. So that's basically that one, Myths and Legends. And then we have here DC Greatest Events. This one is really, really cool too. So we're switching from Marvel to DC now. So DC, was Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, all of them. And so this is in chronological order of major events throughout the DC universe. So for those not familiar with comics, fairly regularly, these lines, the different companies, they will have universe or universe covering events. They cross over into different books to try to get people, like somebody that reads Superman, to try to get them to give Wonder Woman a try. And so they'll have all these different big events that will go. There'll be like a lot of main issues, and then a bunch of tie-ins from like the individual books like Flash or Green Lantern. And so this is like, over the years, obviously some of those events have been more successful and bigger than others, and some of them are like comic universe shattering, So this kind of goes through the big ones in chronological order. Really, really cool. So here, right in the beginning, this is the first meeting of the Justice Society, the original Justice League members. You can see them there sitting around the table. And so, and it just goes through. Yeah, there's another big one, the Flash of Two Worlds. I'm obviously not going to show them all, but that's the birth of the Teen Titans. A lot of the major events. And it goes pretty. Oh, Batman: The Killing Joke. So that was more of a. Why is that in there? That wasn't such a huge event, but it's a famous one. It was a multi-issue, or actually, I thought that was original graphic novel. Anyway, we'll have to look. We have that one. Really good if you haven't read that, Batman: The Killing Joke. Very violent though. So the death of Superman, another big one. Underworld Unleashed. I don't remember that. So I'm kind of just skipping ahead because there's just. There's too many here, but just give you an idea of the different types of things that are in here. New Krypton, Batman 0 Year. And this book was published in 2022. So it has Night of the Owls. I think we can actually skip probably some big ones here, but it's the Multiversity. Convergence, that wasn't that great, Convergence, but DC Rebirth. This was major thing, which has a lot of controversy about what they should have done. They kind of like rebooted the whole DC line, and so as I said, this was published in 2022, so it comes up to some of even the very recent ones like Dark Knight's Metal, and the last one is Future State. Which I think was in 2022. Oh no, 2021. So that I think is the final one in this book. But it has a lot of the really big events. Some of these more recent ones that people might recognize. Rod World, the New 52. Yeah, a lot of these. Oh yeah, so Final Crisis, of course, is in here. A Sinestro Corps War. That was back when. Jeff Johns, who became a major force in DC Comics, ended up working on a lot of the TV shows. Jeff Johns kind of revamped the Green Lantern world. Green Lantern was basically dead, and he revamped the world and created this whole mythology of all different color lanterns. And Sinestro, who was previously a leading Green Lantern, now becomes a leader of the Yellow Lanterns, which is based on fear. So they're not good guys. Final Crisis, that was a big one. Blackest Night, so this was another major. Jeff Johns was on fire then, so this was another major Green Lantern based crossover series that were huge, where you ended up with these Green Lanterns, which basically turned people into like heroes, into like zombies sort of. And this Brightest Day, this was a major event that came out of the Blackest Night event, which had been very popular. And this was like a lot of issues. This was, I think, was every 2 weeks. One of the major issues came out along. So yeah, so really, really cool book with a lot of the major DC events. So we're very, very excited to get this one too. So, so that was the last of these 4 that we got in this bunch. Okay, so that's it. Those are the 4 we got. There was supposed to be one more. I'm not sure if it's still coming. It was a DC one, so we'll see. We'll show it to you if it comes. But hopefully that wasn't too boring for those of you that are not like into comics. But if it was, we'll see you again very soon with some of the other books that we've read just recently. So thanks so much for watching. If you have any of these or any of them look cool to you, let us know. We always love to hear from you. But if you don't have anything substantive you want to say, you can always leave Olive a puppy emoji, because she does always like to see those, right? So thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again very soon. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you next time.